everyone, I'm Cora.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're here from FanCastit and Chill. Today we're going to be talking about TV shows that we just couldn't finish.
Oh, so bad.
I know.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, my first pick would be the Gilmore Girls. I know that's gonna bother you.
No, it's okay.
But I started out really liking the show. Mm-hmm. It was cute, it was sweet, like I've mentioned before, I love the relationship between Rory and Lorelai, but I think they kind of ran out of ideas while they were writing. Like when Rory dropped out of Eiaw, I think that was just so contrary to her personality, and I know she's the kind of age where people like undergo, identity crises. I understand that that's something she was going through, but tonally it didn't fit the rest of the show. When Luke and Lorelai got together, like I had been pining for them, like I had been shipping them so hard since day one, like since the very first episode. But when they got together, it just kind of fell flat. Like I feel like, that's supposed to be their ultimate romance in the show, and they didn't really portray it that way. He was just, I know he would have just been realistically another one of her boyfriends kind of thing like that. But as a fan and as a shipper, I was really looking for more.
It's almost cringy, actually.
Yeah. The way the romance is realized on TV often just does not measure up to your expectations. Mm-hmm. And I think that this was a giant case of it.
It also didn't help that the two characters, or the two actors, hated each other. Like,
did they?
Hated each other. They could barely stand to be on set with each other. And I feel like that almost leached through that toxicity.
That makes sense.
My first pick would have to be Orange is the New Black. Yeah. So I don't know if you picked that one. I hope.
No, I didn't pick that one.
Okay, so at least we're kind of
different.
Yeah. Okay. I really loved the first season. I even loved the second season. The third season is where it really got to me. It was the same thing, and then Piper, she became super unrealistic. Like all of a sudden she thinks she's this badass who can be basically a mobster in prison. Like, no, honey. No, you're this posh, waspy girl who has never had a hardship in your life. Like, don't try to pretend, except for going to prison, don't try to pretend that you're actually, like, a G or, anything like that. Like, no, you're not cool. Nobody's gonna like you. Nobody likes you in the first place. Like, stop yourself. Try to lay low.
Fair enough, yeah.
It was just really bad.
See, I couldn't make it past the first episode, so I can't really comment. But
next segment.
Yeah, okay. My next pick would have to be the 100. This one I picked because everyone loves it. But when I watched the first episode, first few, it was just so cheesy. The acting was terrible. The storyline was so cliche. It feels like you went into a 4th grade creative writing class and someone said, make a political commentary on science fiction. I'm sorry. I've written better stuff sleeping. And I don't mean, that says nothing about anyone's writing skills. And just stop. It doesn't need to be. Like, if after your first 3 episodes, there's nothing good to say about your show, I can't guarantee the rest of the show is going to be good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't finish it.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
So my next pick is also a Jenji Cohen pick. So any of you who, I don't know if I said that right. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Any of you who know any of her stuff knows that she made Weeds originally and then went on to do Orange is the New Black. I don't know if it's... It kind of is, because it's a suburban mom in this case instead of a suburban woman who gets entangled with, she loses her husband essentially, and she gets entangled with dealing weed and everything, and she starts to think that she's the gangster, and it's very much the same kind of cringiness.
Sounds like a softcore Breaking Bad.
It actually was. It was. I didn't finish it though, so I can't talk too much about the later seasons. But I think I got to maybe season 3, maybe season 4. I really don't remember. And it just declined. It was like Heroes. It was a Heroes decline.
For my next pick, this one is not necessarily because the writing went down in quality, but Downton Abbey. And I'm trying to rewatch it because it's been 5 years, But again, speaking of this whole romance thing, the romance between Lady Mary and Matthew Crawley was adorable. They asserted it over 3 seasons, and as sitting there as a shipper, you're just like dying inside. And then in season 3, I believe, again, forgive me if I'm wrong, it's been like 5 years since I've watched it. They finally get married, she gets pregnant, and she's delivering her baby, and Matthew in another town is coming back to finally meet his new son. Like, everything's perfect, you know, he's involved in the estate, everything's going fantastic for them. But as he's traveling the road up to the Downton estate, he gets into a car accident and dies. They kill him. And I have never been so hurt by TV in my life. I swore that show off, and so, I mean, I've heard it's still fantastic. I've heard you have to make it past season 3 and into season 4, and I'm trying to do it now, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able, like, I'm falling in love with him again. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Like, I love that you just sound like an ex-wife talking about her. And I'm sure it's doing fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's okay. Like, it's probably all right. It's fine.
For me, the next show I tried to watch, I really loved at first actually, but I got bored, was The Client List. It's not a super popular show, I don't think. It's with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Basically, I think she either gets divorced or something, or her husband gets laid off, and she needs to get a job. She's a masseuse. So, you know, it's exactly what you think. She does happy endings. And so she starts a massage parlor and goes to a massage parlor where they get lots of tips because they do extra things. And not just happy endings, you know, but it's basically prostitution.
That's something.
So I found that interesting because I actually not like that kind of thing, but I think it's like
it's a little disturbing there.
No, it's like a very societal kind of interesting concept for me. So I liked it for a little bit, and then I just never finished it because I got bored, and I was just, this is getting so much worse. I don't want to watch anymore. It's really bad. So it just got unrealistic for me, and I stopped watching it.
All right.
Couldn't watch it actually because it got really bad.
My next one is a huge pet peeve of mine. So Wentworth. Okay,
so it's not just me.
I absolutely adored Wentworth. Seasons 1 through 5.
Right,
so the first few seasons were absolutely phenomenal. Like, you see bees climb to power, and like, unlike Piper, it's super realistic.
Yeah,
I love, like, she goes from this not timid woman, but like kind of like a little bit reserved.
I think
to like this absolute badass. She shaves the side of her head, like gets really super buff, like kind of runs the joint, and like you just you fall in love with her. You fall in love with Frankie, and Joan Ferguson is one of the best TV antagonists on air right now, or she's no longer there. But
spoiler!
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I think it was really well done, but can I can't say. Okay,
No, you spoil it. It's okay. I probably won't watch it.
Yeah. So there's now 2 seasons after this. Is in what I thought was going to be the wrap up for the series. They have Ferguson kill B. Smith, and so like B forces her to drive the knife into herself. To get Ferguson framed for murder, and then blah 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 blah. You think this is gonna be the wrap of the series? Like, Bee's made her hero sacrifice, the main character is done, but they keep on going. There's no plot left for them to write. So they start talking about like sending Frankie back to prison, like introducing new characters that I just can't care about. And it should have wrapped up in season 4 or whatever. And so I tried season 5. I finished that. It was okay. Got a little bit through season 6 and just had to say, you know what? I'm shutting off my TV mid-episode. I cannot stand this. I'm sorry. Couldn't finish the show.
It's one of those shows where I stopped watching it because, this is not my pick though. I just stopped watching it because it got really hard for me. I was getting too many feels. Like, after her daughter died, to be honest, hurt. It hurt so bad. I was bawling my eyes out. It didn't capture my attention the same way it did the first time. So that's my 2 cents.
Fair enough.
But my next pick is iZombie. I actually love this show. I thought it was really cute. I hate zombies. I should mention this. I hate zombies. I hate aliens. Hate me for it. That's fine. But I hate zombies, aliens, drugs, all that sort of thing.
All the things you should hate, right?
Yeah. So iZombie was something that was really cute to me. It showed zombies in a more lovable way. They weren't super gory, and they weren't like eating off people's arms and killing horses, which made me sad in The Walking Dead. The first episode, I couldn't get past it because of the horse. So it was very relatable. She was very cute. You know, she was adorable. It was kind of like a murder mystery type show, but it didn't really hit the mark with that. That's the only problem. I think it's supposed to be almost like CSI with zombies, except it was more sitcom with zombies and a little bit of murder in it. So, yeah.
Sounds like they couldn't quite decide what they wanted their show to be about.
Exactly. So I didn't make it past season 1.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah. So my next show would be How to Get Away with Murder. I really liked season 1. I thought it was creative. I loved Annalise as a character. This powerful black woman. I was drawn to her. You don't see a lot of that on TV, except Shondaland. She's good with that. Again, I know some people hate her, but whatever. I thought the plot was kind of unique, and I kind of liked the dark aspect of the show. However, after season 1, it got really convoluted. I felt like there was the characters really lost their integrity, like who they were originally. You started off as, like, for example, with Frank at one point. He was kind of dubious. You didn't know who he was, but then it's asserted at one point that he's like this assassin, this hired hitman with a really shady past, obviously if he's a hitman. But no, he's a shit. He's a shit. He's a hitman who does baking on the side. No, but then they end up turning him into like this really weird, soft character, and it felt so unnatural. And then there was all these other like spin-off topics, and I don't know. I feel like they just didn't have a direction for where they're going. And the fact that it's still running drives me absolutely crazy.
And I couldn't make it past the pilot, to be honest.
Anyways, continue.
Anyway, so I have Skins next. Now, I absolutely adore Skins. I love the Misfits as well, which is kind of in a similar vein, whereas it's an anthology kind of series. So I really like that show, but it just, after Chris died, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, which you should, in season 2, because they usually do it after 2 seasons, they'll kill off characters or have them go away or something and start a whole new series. So, yeah, it was season 2. After season 2 and Chris died, I just got the biggest feels in my heart because you actually started to like him. He was this type of character who would, his thing was popping Viagra and different types of Viagra, and he was just like a sex addict. So I never really cared about him. But then in the second season, you realize he had some sort of disease. He starts to grow on you, basically. Yep, then he died, and I cried and cried and cried.
Aww.
And my friend told me, hey, it gets worse in season 3. And I tried watching after that, or season 4, I think, because that's when it ended. But anyway, so I tried watching the next kind of group of kids after that, and it just got worse.
Aww.
Yeah, it just got worse. So I couldn't watch. Misfits took me a while to get through as well. After the main cast kind of flipped out. But I managed to get through it, and it's very good. But now it's off Netflix, so Netflix, please bring Misfits back. I like it.
My final pick would have to be Dexter. I really like, again, another one of those shows that started off really strong, very unique ideas, I think, plot line. Don't get me started on that title sequence. It was absolutely brilliant. But I think it just really devolved, and when they, like, after the Trinity Killers arc, there just wasn't really much left to say. Especially, I think, what was the daughter's name that, like, Rita's daughter?
Started with a C, I think.
Yeah, the little girl. Like, she ended up getting, like, really sassy, and I understand the teenage angst, but it was, like, this weird storyline revolving around that. And I think the part that really turned me off is when Deb and Dexter started getting, like, weirdly close. Like it was borderline.
Incesty?
Yeah. I mean, murder is fine. Yeah. But so long as you put incest on the screen, like, I'm done.
No.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
So anyway, my last pick would have to be Legend of Korra. Now, you can hate me for this, but I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You know, I love that they evolved the characters. You know, they're more grown up. They're more developed. They're not as like happy-go-lucky. There's actual hardships in their lives. But I didn't like the vibe. That's all I can say. I didn't like the vibe I got from it. It was this weird steampunky thing that was going on, and there's nowhere they can go from it now. I feel like they just made random excuses for romance, so they had to, yeah, I feel that way. So, you know, at first there was like the two brothers who she liked one, but the other liked her, so it was a triangle. And then she gets with Asami, and then it's like, oh no, surprise lesbianism, and that's like, yay, lesbianism in cartoons, which is great, and it honestly is. But it was just like, are you just making this up for fun, or is there an actual reason why? That's how I feel. I couldn't finish it, so I don't know if there actually is a reason why Korsami happened, but I feel like they just threw in all these sorts of characters and all these romances for nothing, and it just really got hard to watch. And the villains, it was like an exaggerated version of how people actually are, and it didn't sit right with me. I was done with it, especially from someone who loves, you know, that whole world. It disappointed me.
All right, I think that brings us to a close.
It does. It does.
So again, thanks so much for watching, everyone.
I've been Courtney.
I'm Cora. I'm still Cora.
Yes, and I'm still Courtney.
This has been FanCastit and Chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to
Qualia and Noir Pictures on YouTube. Click that notification bell so that you receive any updates for when we upload live streams, gaming, FanCastit Prime, FanCastit Music, FanCastit and Chill, which is us. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all FanCastit. And we'll see you next time.